Get in, nerds! We are playing Victoria 3. We are playing as Serbia, and we are here while a big ol' conflict in Europe is happening. The North Germans are going to be fighting alongside the Austrians against the Brits, and the Russians are involved. No, this is a visual artifact. This shouldn't be here. The Russians are not. There's no conflict between the Russians and the North Germans. I'm going to allow this event to blow up before I get up to anything, because I'm going to be getting up to some stuff. I tell you what, I am still building universities. I'll probably stop building using the government queue after that, just so that the situation can change over here and my finances can be helped. Okay, looks like France is now losing their war, at least on the side where they're facing Spain. So we might have a splitty France, which would be interesting. That would be an interesting timeline to live in. Now, I read the Great Eastern Crisis event to you, but I didn't read the journal entry, so let's take a look at that. Great Eastern Crisis, Major Situations Journal Entry. Rumelian integrity, 40%. 1/40th of 1%. A crisis is brewing in the Balkans, and the Ottoman Empire is struggling to maintain control over their territory as secessionists jeopardize their rule. As the situation becomes dire, they are trying to stabilize the current uptick of unrest before it spreads across the region. While the Great Eastern Crisis is ongoing, all cultural and religious political movements in the Ottoman Empire will draw even more support, and that means, yes, extra cultural minority movement pop attraction, extra radical movement pop attraction, extra political movement activism, extra political movement pop attraction. So it's a big old modifier. Sorry if you can hear that, that's my phone vibrating, but it's probably spam. So this will complete if the Ottoman Empire does not have a Great Eastern Crisis journal entry. If completed possible event effects. If Rumelian integrity in the Ottoman Empire successfully reaches 100% in 5 years, Ottoman Empire gets controlled Eastern Crisis for 15 years. Fervor of every Balkan culture in the Ottoman Empire is changed by -10 for 15 years. Ottoman Empire gains leverage in each subject and every country with a capital or an interest in the Balkan strategic region. If, on the other hand, Rumelian integrity in the Ottoman Empire does not successfully reach 100% in 5 years, then the Ottoman Empire gets unchecked Eastern Crisis for 15 years. Fervor in every Balkan culture in the Ottoman Empire is changed by 25 for 15 years, which is good. And Ottoman Empire loses leverage in every subject and every country with a capital or an interest in the Balkans strategic region. In addition, cultural and religious political movements in the Ottoman Empire get discordant activism for 10 years, which is those same modifiers as before. Unchecked Eastern Crisis is also a -5% bureaucracy and -10% authority for the Ottomans. So, exploiting this will be very good for us. The Rumelian Integrity Progress Tracker is going up by 2 monthly on average, and this is due to the Ottoman Empire having legitimacy above 50 and them not being at war. So, in order to do our part, we need to put the Ottoman Empire into a war. Okay, this diplomatic play is still happening. Again, I'm gonna wait because I don't want the North German Federation to side with the Ottomans when I get aggressive against them. So let's take a look at what territories we can take. I definitely want to take Kosovo. That's not optional. Do I want to take Albania? I think so. Albanians are pretty well treated in our empire, all told. Especially if they convert to Orthodoxy, which not a lot of them have, but it's not ideal, but it's all right. And this is only an Albanian homeland state, so they'll be doing better here. Are all these areas Albanian homeland states? They are. Montenegro is, and Kosovo is. Macedonia is. Oh, I didn't look up what Serbia actually means, but so we're I forgot to do that, but that's okay. So I definitely want to take these 2 territories. Now, Macedonia is Greek and Turkish homeland. Greek would be at 4 at fourth level acceptance. Heritage Greek, language Greek. Traditions none. Seems insulting. And Greek is a European. Yeah, plus 50 from heritage group European within primary culture, minus 5 from no shared language group, 0 from no shared tradition group, but they're getting a little extra from being mostly Orthodox. There are a lot of Turks and Sephardim here. There are also Bulgarians. So I'm kind of half and half, and if I want to take Macedonia. Batistrakia, Western Thrace, is a good target because it has silk capacity. Macedonia does not. So like that's the one thing that makes Western Thrace a good target for me. Yao. Eastern Bantu. A lot of Bantu people over here. Interesting. Turks get treated pretty bad in our empire, unfortunately. So I don't want to be taking any of these majority Turkish areas if I can avoid it. But there's opium capacity. Urgh! Do I do an imperialism or do I not? I think the answer is I gotta. I really would prefer not to. Alright, this war has started, so it's time to kick off our war, and Russia is going against the Circassians, who are involved. Oh no, the Circassians are a British protectorate. That's what's going on here. Curious. Okay, so the Russians are against the Brits? Because of Circassia? Yeah, seems that way. So it's the Russians, the Germans, and the Austrians against the Brits. Britain, you really beefed this one, I gotta say. You goofed it. You goofed it real bad. So, if I want to take Kosovo, what does that now look like? Romania will fight on the Ottoman side. Romania, buddy, what are you talking about? Why would you fight for the Ottomans? You hate those guys. Well, that's quite curious, isn't it? Are you sure? What kind of an army have you got, Romania? Let's look at that. And not much of a one. But what... Size matters not. It's technology. Line infantry. And... mobile artillery. Okay, so they have a real army over there. And they are their own market. So if I do this, and they'll almost assuredly, well, they'll almost assuredly side with the Ottomans. I still feel reasonably confident in my ability to win this war if I can beat Romania quickly. Again, Russia might step in. I might be able to get Russia in on this. So I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to give myself some infamy here. And now I have to make the decision, what else do I need to take? Do I want to take? Macedonia and Thessalia is clearly part of Greece. That would be unreasonable. But I do want to take Albania. Albania can be part of Greatest Serbia. 13.5 infamy, that's not bad. Macedonia is only 6.8. And Western Thrace is only, well, hold on now. This actually changes things. Because this is a lot less infamy than taking Albania. What about Eastern Thrace? 13.4. Okay, I can't, that's their capital, isn't it? I think it might be. Yeah, that's the capital. Alright, but I actually think I will go for these areas. That will give me a native source of silk, which will be really nice for me. And that'll generally be good. Alright, so let's go ahead and mobilize our armies. And we'll actually raise our conscripts. I do need to raise the conscripts. Do I have a guy who's... Are you particularly good at defense? Not really. What about you? You are an elder. I need another leader in this army. Let me see. Someone who's not syphilitic. Oh no, syphilis isn't that bad. Why do you think? It's kidney stones that make you a bad fighter. Okay, you're arrogant and a surveyor. That's pretty good. So let's pull you in. You're an intelligentsia guy. I'm going to put you two both on defense. And I'm going to put you on the main front. So the first army is going to defend the main front. And if Romania gets into this, then the second army will defend, will attack Romania. Now, let's align some conscripts. First army, I need more. I'm going to need more troops. So, let's go ahead and add 5... 10 battalions of skirmish infantry, and then we'll do, I think, 5 battalions of artillery. So what does that make us? That makes us 30, 14, 6. That's pretty alright. Maybe a little bit more artillery. And that should be fine. I'm not going to increase conscription anymore above that. I've added my necessary war goals. Ottoman Empire is confident. It would cost me quite a bit of infamy to add these to primary, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and increase the game speed. Just checking my fervor. Greece has begun embargoing me, that's fine. Society? Society is where cultures are. Serbian fervor is going down. My benchmark is 60. Right, I was also going to look at companies, and I didn't. What a hero. Force comparison is not great here, but it's going to be better later. Alright, it looks like the Romanians are not stepping in. So at this point, I could bring in some friends. What do the Russians want? They want become subject, that's not useful. They want obligations, that's okay. Transfer states for Austria, so that's no good. So I could bring in the Russians. If I did that, I might need to spend extra, I might need to take extra infamy to get Macedonia and Western Thrace into my primary war goals. I've got a lot of maneuvers, because I don't want them to back down. The Russians are only in one... No, they're in both of these wars. But the war in France is going to be just fine, probably. They're probably going to be out of it before too long. And the Piedmontian side is actually losing. They don't have war support protection. The French side does have war support protection because the other side put in a lot of special war goals, but they are still losing on the battlefields themselves. I don't necessarily want France to be split up, but I don't know. Maybe it creates opportunities for me if they are. So we'll see. I don't want this to be a run over though, because I want to slow down the progress of the Great Eastern Crisis event chain, because I want things to go bad for the Ottomans. Romania no longer has any interest in getting involved here. So, what do I do here? Do I maybe add these to primary? I don't think so. I think I'm okay with owing Russia an obligation. I don't intend to fight Russia. And maybe I'll sneak in another war goal. Maybe I'll snag Albania. Maybe I will snag Albania. Alright. So that gets the Russians in there. In here. The Germans would join. The Germans would join. Oh, but only if I become a subject, which I don't wish to do. Alright, so now the Ottomans are worried. It'll cost me a bunch of maneuvers to put these in. How much will it... So, it'll cost me 26 maneuvers. So what can I get if I add a war goal? It'll be 25. So I can either guarantee one, or I can steal something that's, like, not worth much. Although this force comparison suddenly got better. Oh, that's probably because the Russians are going to show up soon. So do I snag Albania, or do I ensure that I can grab both of these? I think the answer is I ensure that I can grab both of these. Infamy be danged. This probably changes who would be willing to step in here, but no one's willing to step in on behalf of the Ottomans, and that's what matters. Well, the Germans will they might, but they're also in a war right now against Britain, one of the primary powers in the world right now, so I'm hoping they don't get too much. Again, my goal here is kind of simply to draw the Ottomans into a prolonged war. And as my armed forces grow in strength, that will become a more efficient strategy. I did go up to 20, 12, and 3 for conscripts on my on my primary army. I might do the same for my secondary army. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20, 12, and 3. Yeah, so I need another 10 artillery as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all we can do. We are at maximum for conscription, so that's fine. We're in the countdown to crisis now. Ottoman Empire is probably going to fight, but that's okay. I can live with that. I can live with the Ottoman Empire fighting. No shortages in my market, so let's get to it. I'm going to stay on defense right now. Well, actually, this force comparison looks pretty good. You know what? I'll go over to the attack. I'll do it. Other army, we will go over to the attack as well. You are 59. I could use another guy in here. Let me see. Defensive strategist and imposing. Yeah, you're a good character to bring in. Never mind the increasing strength of the trade unions. So now, this is being slowed down. Oh, Ottoman Empire is at war, -3. Okay, so we are really goofing them up now. Because remember, they've only got 5 years to do this. So in fact, the longer this war goes on, the better. The Russians are experiencing more success over on this front now. So we need Kosovo, we need Western Thrace, and we need Macedonia. We're going to take all those territories, and that's going to be great. Our army remains pretty affordable, but as the game goes on, it will grow more expensive. Russia is improving relations. That's delightful. Romania, yes, I'm already improving relations with you. North German Federation, we're neutral, but I'm improving relations with you. I'm quite infamous, but I've just got to free the South Slavic peoples. And by free them, I mean seize them into my domain. Having my own supply of silk is going to be really, really good for my my customs union, because this will allow me to produce my own luxury clothes, and that's really critical. And by critical, I mean it's nice to have. Alright, occupation here in Kosovo is good, 39%. We're gradually seizing control of the territories we desire. And the Great Eastern Crisis is progressing downward at a very respectable tack. Which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. Now, it probably would have been smarter for me to get the Austrians in here instead of the Russians, because the Russians are also a people who have the ability to progress this tracker downward easily through a war. I'm going to improve relations with the Egyptians, and maybe, as time goes by, I will be able to oh, interesting. The front has been split. I'm going to send my secondary army over here to this side, because I think taking this territory is going to be real easy. And we'll just sort of progress through the Ottoman Empire this way. I probably could have taken more. I say as I got extremely greedy already. War with the Greek uprising. Huh. Well, would you look at that? Okay. Oh. How curious. Oh, this is very good for me. This is very good for me. Because I have the ability to seize a bunch of Greek territory. And Greece is not in this war. No. Yes? No. What is this? Okay, so the Greek uprising is against the Ottomans, but I have the ability to win a war and seize a bunch of Greek territory. So, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. I could get a bunch of this. Okay, do I want this territory? These are predominantly Turkish areas. There's silk and opium over here in Hudavendigar. Ionia has tobacco and silk. Oh man. What's the population dynamics look like? This area is more Greek. So this is interesting. I think probably I will simply take Thessalia. So the question I'm asking myself right now is, do I immediately build a fleet like a crazy, like a mad cat, and make a dash for these areas so that I can break off and steal even more Ottoman territory? If the Ottoman Empire wins this war... Okay, so what really happens is I need to win this war first. Because I have both of these war goals. So no matter what I would wish, I must do this, in fact. In fact, this is my only... this is something I must do. So, let's form a navy. Because if I don't do this, then I won't even get the territories that I want to get. Alright. Let me see. Cruel and Convoy Raider. Wrathful and Convoy Raider. As commander, extra morale loss, increased morale damage. As commander, extra kill rate. I don't love kill rate. I don't think it's that great. Increased morale loss, increased morale damage. Although innovative, reduced morale loss, increased surprise maneuver chance. This guy's good. Frigates, we'll put 5 here. Boy, we're just going to... Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to also build myself a military shipyard. This is crazy what I'm currently doing. Sorry, University of Northern Thrace, you're gonna have to go slow. But I'm gonna do this. So with this army here, I should be able to push this front no problem. Yeah, I know they're having attrition, but they should stop. They'll be on the front soon, and then life will be good. Alright, here we are. So let's get fighting. If I can get this territory, I can win. Do they have war support protection? They do not. Or that's me. Do they have war support protection? They do, because I'm not fully holding both of the territories that I desire, but soon I will be. And that will be great. It's Macedonia and... Ooh, egalitarianism. Excellent. Yeah, I know I'm short on man of wars, but I gotta Savine imports. Savine imports, gosh darn it. What happened? Get out of here. Stop it. Shit. What is going on? I can't... Hold on. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Import subventions. We're good. Now I've changed the trade policy. Okay, so the mechanic is you gotta go backward first. Alright. I've taken the territory that I desire. I've got a front here against the Ottomans that I need to start pushing. Maybe I don't need a fleet. Because maybe I can simply take this territory by land. I thought the Ottomans were going to hold their capital a little better than this, but apparently not. Does the enemy still have war support protection? They do. This is... I'm not sure which state that is. Fractional distillation, that's nice. That was a technology we needed. So this will be pushing us in against the Greek uprising, and then... This is a combination of Greek and Ottoman forces. I don't yet have enough fleets to naval invade over there, but I guess I can march across the Ottoman Empire and make that happen. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire's war against the... Beautiful. Alright, I've seized Kosovo. That's good. Okay, so I'm no longer at war with the Ottomans. That's the key piece of information here. I am at war with the Greek uprising. They no longer have war support protection. And I've seized a comical amount of their territory now. So, let's see how a naval invasion looks. We'll get hugely reduced efficiency, but maybe it'll be fine. And the Ottomans are pushing in the Greeks as well. And this is a battle between the Ottomans, the Greeks, and the islands. Oh, because the Ottomans are holding Ionia right now. So, I see. So this is how these work now. Well, this is extremely curious. I've got a really strong frontage here. Trabzon is held... I'm the only one occupying Trabzon right now. We're about to be in a battle. Those battles are going fast, and I am developing occupation. Okay, so this is working. This is working despite it being absolutely absurd, crazy buck wild for me to even attempt it. But I am actually taking Greek territory. Now, let's invade the remaining state with my one ship that's actually going there. This is so absurd, the way this war has shaken out, but I kind of love it as well. Like, I've almost got full occupation on the enemy. They would not be willing to cede the territories that I desire. Sadly, I didn't put Thessalonia in there. Thessalia. The Ottomans are still fighting the Greeks on the islands out here, which is going to make this easier for us. Hopefully. This is really silly, friends. I don't know how I've managed to make this happen. Unfortunately, this does mean I may have simply quashed the Greek uprising before it could even get started. But we'll see. Let me actually look at the state of their other war. They are also losing against the Ottomans, and hopefully not losing as fast as they're losing against me. Because again, that's the issue. The thing I want is to get them... They're not quite losing as fast against the Ottomans as they are against me, but I should be able to snag the territories that I want to snag. Once their war support gets below 0, we'll see how long it's going to take. Because again, if I can get these territories before the Ottomans... Alright, they will say yes right now. I'm going to propose a conquest on both of your territories. Wonderful. And now they're just fighting the Ottomans for the remainder of the Greek territory. So, let's get this stuff incorporated. Kosovo, finally, welcome to the family, son. Let's get the production methods reset. Right. I do want them doing... Ooh, actually, I can produce a lot more of my own luxury clothes now. Let's take a quick look at silk. Meat is very expensive in my my customs union. Where is silk? No, I'm not producing my own silk yet, but I will be soon. because this territory has silk production capacity. Um, let's do let's do 2 levels to start. And I'm actually going to throw these at the top of the queue. This is going to take a long time, but that's okay. All play and no work. General Alexander Karageorgievich's personal habits are starting to get in the way of his role as a general. Alexander Karageorgievich smiles at the officer, exultantly, avidly. His eyes have clearly seen better days. Carefully recumbent on his leather armchair, his voice comes out as rubbery as the material. It's a stressful job, you know. No need to make it even more stressful. Fire him, or he's too valuable. This guy tried to overthrow the king back in the day. He is innovative. He's a master bureaucrat, an explorer, and a persistent alcoholic. This says reduces morale damage, but I'm going to say he's too valuable. I don't know. No, we'll fire him. We have his replacement already hired. And them's the breaks. Alright, so we're incorporating vast swathes of new territory. We're still good on bureaucracy because I overbuilt it a little bit before. There's Bessemer process for our steel mills, which is wonderful. Where are we at? Here we go. Shazam. Now you'll be producing more steel. I'm going to continue to privatize. I'm going to set, again, a lot of my regular industry to privatize. Ooh, I need to be making smooth bores for artillery. That's what I need to be doing. Cool. Tea plantations. Privatizing. Silk plant. Oh. Like, I have silk plantations already? No, they're in Wallachia. They're in Wallachia, and I want to hold on to those. Interesting. I didn't realize I had investment rights in... Oh, maybe those are actually owned by my pops in Western Thrace. Alright, so... I've got a ton of infamy. Just... an absolute heck ton. My cultural fervor is going down. No, my cultural fervor is steady. I've taken enough casualties for my cultural fervor to be steady now. So that's very good. That's very good. Alright. Oh, here we go. There is an acceptance column. So that's good. So now I need to kind of hang tight. So I think for silk, I'm going to leave it where it is for now. Perhaps I will set import tariffs when these start running. And then, when these silk plantations start running, and then that will make it easier for me to be producing my own silk. And that will be very nice. I think I'm going to take a little bit of time once I've done that, and this is going to take another 2 weeks, to look through the companies, and then from there, I will focus construction on building companies. There we go, little import tariff there. I will focus construction on what I need to build up a good company. So, I have some companies available. Colony growth speed, that's not useful to me, but I could produce reserve coffee, which would be nice. Prime meat would be nice. Textile mills throughput is not hugely useful to me. Extra bureaucracy and craft paper, now that's really good. Extra manufacturing industries throughput and precision tools, that's outstanding. I need a level 5 tooling workshop. I think that's currently my runner-up. Agriculture throughput and paper mills throughput, that's alright. You know, I love loyalties from political movements. Ooh, construction efficiency. What do I need for this one? I need a level 5 steel mill. I've already got a level 3 steel mill. This shouldn't take too long. Oop, they're gone. Where'd they go? Did they become producible? Hold on. Where's my steel guys? They're here. Okay, alright. They're still there. Alright, let's continue through. Navy offense is pretty good. Reduce radicals from political movements and designer clothes is really good. High-grade explosives is fine. Reduce military goods cost is alright. It's only going to matter during wars, though. Happier and stronger industrialists and Basma tobacco. Sedinini Tyutyuneva Fabriki AD. This what do I need for this? So this is a Bulgarian company. Bulgarians are South Slavs. This is a good company to build. So what do I need here for this? Because Stronger Industrialists is pretty rock solid. Extra morale recovery on the one below, though. Morale recovery is bananas. Because morale recovery gives me... but birth rate also produces a lot of long-term. But both of these are grocery companies, though. That's the thing. The food conglomerate of Serbia and Mate Gavrilovic Drug is food companies, and they're difficult to keep productive. Quite difficult, in fact. But I think the birth rate might be necessary because I'm going to be hampered late game by my population. 15% Navy offense, though. Oh, man. Oh, I need Dalmatia for this. Alright, so we won't work on that. Defense and recovery rate. That's pretty good. Arms industries in Western Serbia. I think I already have the necessary arms industries in Western Serbia. No, I only have 2 levels. There, and on top of that, they're unproductive. Reduced supply consumption, that's okay. Trade advantage, wheat farms, building throughput, that's alright. Western Serbia premium armaments, that's offense instead of defense and recovery rate. That's okay. Reduced radicalism for discriminated pops. That's really curious. Extra influence, extra prestige, convoys and shipping throughput, livestock ranches throughput, radicals from political movements, migration attraction, minting and loyalists, although again I don't have any gold in my customs union right now. And then this one I can power plants throughput, but that of course requires having electrics, which I don't have. So I'm still leaning towards state construction efficiency. Although I have to ask myself now, what's the thing that really poses a barrier to me in the late game? Well, construction efficiency is very important in the mid game, though. So here's what we'll do. All my steel mills are not in all in Belgrade. Where's my other steel? Where's the rest of my steel? The rest of my steel is in Bosnia. And I need, for the steel company... Oh, but I need to be one of the top 3 producers of steel in the world to be producing a prestige good. That's the thing that's hard about this. So maybe I should look at other stuff. But I want that construction efficiency, though. Alright. Yeah, building his steel mills is greater than or equal to level 5. So I need to double the amount of steel that I produce in Western Serbia. Is there enough labor here? There's not really. But that's okay. I can subsidize them. Alright. So, obviously that's going to cost the government a lot of money. You know what? I'm actually going to wait on this. It's going to go on the docket, but I'm going to wait. Because here's the thing. I need these silk plantations built. I need these naval bases built for the long term. And is the private sector going to produce for me a... foreign cues. Russia is building coal mines. Very nice. They're probably not. So what I'm going to need to do is produce a military shipyard in Montenegro. And obviously that will take a significant amount of time. But it will be worth it in the long term. There's logistics. That's good. So I'm getting good military tax spread. Cash flow is doing okay as I continue to finish incorporating these Bulgarian territories. I still have a truce with Bulgaria, do I not? I do. But only for another 5 months. So if I really wanted to go absolutely buck wild on infamy, I could seize this other territory. But I don't necessarily wish to do that. Great Eastern Crisis is progressing again, but we've stalled it out. Oh no. So this is quite bad. +1 from legitimacy, +1 from not at war, +1 from no secession movements, and +2 from recently crushed a secession movement. So, how can we make things worse for the Ottoman Empire? Can I start supporting separatism? No, because I don't have sufficient pops of one of my primary cultures in one of our homelands. The only place I can do this is Hungary, and I kind of want to do it. I'm going to start doing it. And, you know, we'll see what comes of it. Can I do the same in Croatia, Slavonia? I can. And what about Austria? I cannot. Sad. Alright, so this is going to deteriorate relations with both of these countries, so I will improve relations. I can't do that here because I don't have any... Ooh, actually... I'm not going to improve relations with Croatia, Slavonia. I'm gonna be finished improving relations with Romania pretty soon. I'm gonna not improve relations with Two Sicilies, and in fact, maybe... Can I rival Two Sicilies right now? Two Sicilies is a minor. I'm also a minor. Why can't I... Who can I rival? Could rival Hohenzollern. Let's do it. So Hohenzollern... Can I rival Bulgaria? I don't need the influence that bad. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to max out my influence to get my infamy decaying faster. One notification, paper in Serbia is expensive. Here's something the private sector will handle that. I'm still at only 9 construction sectors. A little bit of a shameful quantity, if I do say so myself. I definitely want to build up another construction sector. I'm paying so much in interest right now. It's kind of absurd. But I think when I'm done with the current construction projects, I say a thing I've said before 100 times. I'm going to stop building stuff and knock out my national debt. But this time I'll do it. This time I'll do it, said the protagonist of Disco Elysium, pointing the gun at his own head. This time I'm going to do it for realsies. Yeah, we're gonna... But I actually am this time. I'm definitely not just going to build a bunch of universities. I say as I realize my tech is still really, really lacking, and I would really benefit from having more techs. Actually, I'm doing okay. I got tech spreading here on baking powder. I think next, I've got some good tech spread in military. I should actually knock out triage. So we'll add that one into the queue. And then we'll have to do hydraulic cranes just to finish that out. And that will be in tier 3 for military. And I think at that point, I want to snag breech loading artillery. That's going to keep me ahead on techs. Electric telegram, no, this is reduced war exhaustion from casualties. Enlistment office is extra conscriptable battalions. And I am actually probably going to swing by and snag that. Because... conscripting a lot of battalions is an important part of my strategy. I actually don't have central archives, shockingly enough. But yes, as you might have guessed from what I'm looking at, next stop once I get up to the tier 3s in military is to knock out the rest of the tier 2s in social. I need modern sewerage quite badly. Central archives will definitely be researched by then. I want realist art that gets some good stuff. I want pharmaceuticals. Ooh, pharmaceuticals unlocks public health insurance. Maybe that's more important. Then we'll do modern sewerage. Actually, let's do modern sewerage first. Then we'll do pharmaceuticals. Then we'll do labor movement. Then realism. Then quinine. And that'll be fine. Again, we've already got Central Archive spreading to us. So that's a good tech plan for the next whatever. Weekly innovation is okay. We could definitely use more, but it's not... We're not at like a critical low point at present. We're just kind of chilling. So how much debt am I in? 1.8 million. It's not a great amount. Dmitria Obrenovic has passed. How does that change our politics? The head of the intelligentsia is now a moderate, which means we may see a realignment. If we can get the industrialists and the armed forces in a government together, that would be really, really good. Because those two align really nice together. When's our next election? Our next election is in 69. Nice. Which is coming quite up. Serbia continues to stand strong. Now, the other thing I need... I just realized, the thing I'm doing over here in the social side of the tech tree is I'm trying to get myself steel frame buildings. And then after that, I need to get pan-nationalism, because pan-nationalism is the tech that's going to allow me to form Yugoslavia. I have a strong radical movement. What do they want? They want no more monarchy. They want no more censorship. They're happy with universal suffrage. Would they be happier, or they're happy with census suffrage. Would they be happier with universal? They would. The only people that would help me do this right now are the trade unionists. But if I can get a radical in charge of one of my parties, or I can get a different coalition into the government, maybe that'll change. I've got a Greek national movement, obviously. I might... Wow, I'm actually making a good amount on these. I'm going to cut my my road maintenance decrees, I think. Oop. Maybe I can't cut that one. One in Bosnia needs to stay. Can I get rid of the one in Montenegro safely? I think so. Yeah, I definitely can. And the one in Eastern Serbia, I definitely can. Alright, so this is giving me a little bit of authority to play with. I'm going to suppress the Greek national movement. Although they're happy right now. Obstinance. I realize I saw this, but I didn't actually explain to you what this does. I'm just going to go ahead and read the description first of all. Obstinance represents POP supporting a cultural movement or religious movement within a state passively refusing to comply with the country's institutions. Obstinance is caused by movement activism of an applicable movement exceeding 50%. The amount of obstinance is equal to the fraction of the state's workforce that are members of the obstinate political movement. Obstinate. The effects of obstinance in a state are a number of negative local status effects on a state, such as reduced assimilation, tax collection, conscription, and institution impact. So, actually, and we've got a map mode here. So here's where we've got obstinance, primarily Macedonia and Western Thrace. So these cause, it's weird to see this called Macedonia when this is Macedonia in modern politics. So this is causing reduced tax collection, reduced assimilation, reduced conversion, significantly reduced impact of institutions, and reduced conscriptable battalions. So hopefully we can weaken the Greek national movement and make things easier. Yugoslav national movement is stronger but very inactive. Hadam Basic is still chilling as part of that movement. And we'll see how that goes. We've got extra influence from finishing improving relations with Romania. So that is good. And now we are finally knocking away at our national debt. It looks like Russia is taking over the Circassians. That eventually leads to an extremely bad time, but that's their growth path. Obviously, I still have a pretty high number of radicals, all told. But, you know, it's not actually impacting my politics all that much. And I'm hoping that I can get standard of living going up as my tech improves and get things going better. We're almost done building our fleet. And maybe no, I'm not gonna build capital ships. I don't need capital ships. Man of Wars. Did I eventually build my military shipyard? I did. And it is hiring, so they are producing Man of Wars now. If I go to steamships, they'll be less efficient. Paradox has to fix up this production method, because this one's never profitable. I don't know how to help with that. How much are I currently paying in subsidies? Not that many. How much am I paying in subventions? Quite a bit. I'm paying export subventions for furniture and clothes. Import subventions for fertilizer. What am I doing for engines? I am paying export subventions. Alright, well that's alright. That's export subventions are money well spent. Let's take a quick pass through. No, I'm not going to take a quick pass through my states and look at local prices because I'm gonna stop building stuff. I'm paying so much in debt right now. I'm paying 4.6k in interest right now. And on top of having states that haven't... Why are you covered in cocaine? Southern Bulgaria. Southern Bulgaria, you've spilled your cocaine. Southern Bulgaria, clean up your cocaine. The cops are at the door. Southern Bulgaria, how could you do this? How could you do this to me? You're gonna make me go to the interstate jail. I'm just kidding. All the international, all the world police in 1869 love cocaine and think it's based that everyone is snorting. All right, so how are things going? The Radical People's Party consists of the armed forces and the trade unions. Wow, that's interesting. The Liberal Party consists of the industrialists and the intelligentsia, and the Conservative Party consists of the landowners, the petite bourgeoisie, and the Orthodox Church. The levies. Antun Harambashi has made overtures to the rural folk for electoral support to the Conservative Party. Dragan Maric has at least acknowledged the talks. Appeals for natural allies makes for a gamble on long odds. Receptive ears to natural allies are often already of like mind. Those who aren't of like mind would politely continue on their own way. Impolitely, they might laugh, scoff, or if truly devious, turn the gambler into their own useful idiot. Old minds think alike, extra momentum for the conservatives, or grass tends to grow as it pleases. Stronger aristocrats and farmers, extra momentum for the conservatives. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't want to be throwing a bunch of momentum by way of the Conservative Party because, again, I don't want to get stuck in a situation where I'm having a problem. So it's interesting. I thought I needed to get into a war with the Ottomans right away, but apparently... Okay, so they no longer have the recently crushed the secession movement buff, but they've got about half the time. So the question here is, if they're getting 3 monthly, they're getting 36 per year. They're not going to make it. They've only got... They need to... Because they need to do this in 5 years, I think. Yeah, if it reaches 100% in 5 years, then they need to get 3 years. So they've only got 3 years left because it was 66 when this started. So I don't think they're going to make it. I think I successfully stopped the Great Eastern Crisis from being resolved. Hooray! The popularity contest. The eyes of the electorate have turned to the candidates that seek to acquire a position at the head of the government. As the election approaches, voters debate who would provide the best leadership for Serbia. I quite like Pezic, mused one of the men at the bar. I couldn't say what it is I agree with him on, but I think he has a good head on his shoulders. His neighbor spoke up. Enough to look past the company he keeps? Oh, why not? God knows you could say the same about any of us. Nobody's better to handle a fool than his friend. Vladimir Pezic is the man of the hour, extra momentum to the liberals, and he gets more popular. A term of Mihailo Bozanovic is what the country needs, extra momentum to the conservatives, and he gets more popular. Or Pantelia Obrenovic has the character for the job, extra momentum for the Radical People's Party, and he gets more popular. I'm going to go with Pezic, because I want to throw that momentum behind the liberals. And hopefully, that will improve the state of affairs. Ooh! Liberal Party is projected to get a plurality. If I can merely hold. I can actually throw them into the government so that I've got the government advantage, because there are a lot of electoral events, particularly when you have censorship, where you can potentially benefit the government. Oh, the French and the Germans are shooting at each other. Interesting. Oh, that's this same war. Is it? No. What's going on over here? This is Sardinia, Piedmont on one side and Tuscany on the other. Where is Tuscany? Over here. Okay, so that's a soft war. So what war is this? This is the... No, this isn't this war. This is this war. Now what's this war about? North German Federation wants to unify with Rhineland and Alsace-Lorraine. They want to liberate Navarre and Brittany. They want to enforce investment rights and liberate Corsica. And France wants to cut the North German Federation down to size. It seems like the North German Federation is winning this incredibly clearly. But, you know, that's not... So that's unfortunate. That is going to liberate Corsica. Have I gotten to the point where I can declare more interests? I have. So, this is what's interesting. Now that I've got something of a navy, I might be able to go on some global imperialism. And I think the first target is Marina Kingdom. Industrial barriers. Factories in eastern Serbia have been reported to be placing Romanian people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens in Serbia. I know. Us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line, and that may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The Romanians don't understand those values. How could they? They're our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Weaker and unhappy petite bourgeoisie and extracultural majority movement pop attraction, or they're lucky to be given any job at all. -2 standard of living for Romanians in all Serb states. 2% of Romanian pops in the whole country become more radical. Serbia gets opposition to discrimination, reduced cultural majority movement pop attraction. 5% of Romanian pops in eastern Serbia specifically become more radical, in addition to the 2% that are living all over. I'm going to say the unequal treatment can't stand, but that's just to weaken the petite bourgeoisie. I want my my election to swing things the way of the Liberal Party. Oh, interesting. There's a little adjustment here. A radical expansion. The ideas of the Radical People's Party have been raising interest throughout the country, leading to potential turmoil. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are people who want crops without plowing the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the roar of its many waters. And they should expand even further, extra momentum to the Radical People's Party. 2% of pops in northern Thrace become more radical. They are compromising the unity of Serbia. Salty trade unions, 20% reduced momentum for the Radical People's Party. Or, someone should convince them to stop. 5% of pops in northern Thrace become more radical. -30% momentum. So now, the question is, if I sell out the Radical People's Party, I think if I increase their momentum, it's going to impact both the Conservative and the Liberal Party. So I think I'm going to say, and they should expand even further, because I'm hoping that will, yeah. So that's increased it a little bit, but I'm hoping that can help the Liberal Party keep us a solid, not plurality, but a solid amount of ability to even. And when the Liberal Party can even, things will be good. Standard of living is going up, and number of loyalists is going up. Number of radicals is not really going down, but again, it's hard to say because these charts are bugged. All right. Now, I have the capacity. Oh, look at this. Delicious charcuterie. I got peppers, pickles, sausage. Oh my goodness. What a great item. And I got some coffee and candies. Oh, are these Turkish delights? They might be. I don't know how that candy got its name, but I've been told it's very good. I know people who like it a lot. Marina Kingdom. Excuse me? The Free Trade Party? What has happened? What? What happened? You bastards! What happened? What happened? They beefed it. They beefed it all. Oh no! What is this? How did this happen? Okay, so the industrialists left the Liberal Party. The armed forces. I don't rightly know how to handle this one bit. Hold on. Can I have just these two? No, I can't. What? What happened? Oh, the Radical Party lost. The Radical Party exploded. Okay. Here's what happened. Somehow my trade unions exploded. Hold on. My trade unions became marginalized. So my Radical People's Party broke up. So my armed forces decided to form a party with the intelligentsia, and that meant the Liberal Party, which contained the armed forces, that contained the industrialists and the intelligentsia, broke up. Meaning, again, the only way I can get a legitimate government is by putting the conservatives in charge. So, you know, that's real good. That's real good, guys. You did it. Well, them's the breaks, I guess. The people have spoken. Yeah, trade unions are no longer influential. Alright. So, now, I was looking into making a protectorate of the Marina Kingdom, which I think I can do. 9 infamy. Oh, a lot of countries would stop me from doing this. Well, only one of them's got a navy, though. That's okay. That's okay. The long game. The long game is what we need. Oh, wait. Is this... No, Zanzibar is not part of Oman. So what if I take Zanzibar? No? Okay. Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. I can stay chill. I can keep chilling today. And I can keep, bashing away at my infamy. And hopefully things will be chill. Is the Greek national movement still causing obstinacy? A little bit. A little bit. We finally got northern and southern Thrace fully incorporated. They still have the recently conquered debuff, but that's not that bad. It is reducing tax collection, but it's not that extreme. Now Macedonia and Western Thrace too as well. Oh, interesting. Western Thrace is incorporating a lot faster. There's triage. Excellent. Western Thrace is incorporating a lot faster because they've got a high... I don't know what to make of this. Their demographics are pretty similar to one another. Alright, before I forget, let's improve the supplies. I didn't realize I hadn't improved the supplies already. Let's enable first aid. Russia wants an agreement. I am producing my own tobacco. So we'll do that. And I'm certainly producing my own liquor, right? Yeah, in fact, it's all being produced by subsistence farms, which is just fine. So I'll enable the liquor method as well. I don't think I need rail transport yet. Russia, you want trade privileges in exchange for a guarantee of independence. Sure. I would be delighted by that. So, we're still smashing away at our national debt, but it's improving. It's improving. Subsidies and subventions are pretty low. And how is the investment pool? The investment pool couldn't be larger, to be honest. How far away are we from steel frame buildings? We're pretty far away right now. So I think it's time to build ourselves a few more construction sectors. Nothing too extreme. And let's build them in the new areas. And what this will do is this will help those areas get developed, and it will provide employment in those areas. And that'll be very nice. Is this a positive balance while constructing, I see? Rare. Although I guess I am in the process of building more construction sectors, so that's not going to last for long. But again, the private sector will be able to use all this construction capacity that I'm building it to improve the state of the country. I'm thinking about Austria because I'm thinking about whether or not to reduce relations with them and look to the north, finally, now that I've secured the south. I may move all the way to the sea and take a protectorate over Greece before going further, but we'll see. Village schooling. Academics on the payroll of the government have founded village schools across the countryside of Kosovo. These village schools seek to increase literacy rates and foster a sense of Serbian national identity amongst the peasantry. So, to review, we're at 65.58. We need 10 points. So if we can get 10 points, we'll just do it. Our nation has had bad luck, the teacher began. It has not yet been completely united. In these lands, our people are dependent on foreigners. She indicated towards the map on the wall at several regions shaded in black. In these provinces, the foreigner rules, and it is very difficult for our brothers. An excellent initiative. Extra education institution fervor. Not sure what that means. Extra assimilation. Or offer them additional funding. Costs a barrel full of cash for 5 years. But way more assimilation and extra educational institution fervor. Okay, I get it. Extra fervor from education institution, I think is what that means. I'm going to offer them additional funding. This seems worth it. Let's see what that changes my set point to. It changes it to 65. Okay, so it changed by almost nothing. That was dumb. That was dumb of me. I did it dumb. But alright. I sacrificed cash flow for nothing. I need more academics. I need to build some universities, gosh dang it. I am getting a good amount of set point from war casualties. And I'm not gonna lie, that's part of the reason I've been fighting a lot of wars. It's not the only reason, but it's part of it. Speaking of which, what if I conquered the rest of Bulgaria? Brazil would step in. That's curious. What kind of an army has Brazil got? Brazil's got an army. But what kind of troops have they got? Sweden has formed the United Front, line infantry, and irregular infantry. But lancers and mobile artillery. I have strong doubts as to whether or not Brazil would actually step in, but I might be able to take them. If I can go fast, but obviously going fast is a little bit hard for me, given that I've got my whole national militia thing going. And I'm trying to get my infamy down so that I can do some imperialism. Pearly Shin, haven't you been exiled from the United States before? Yeah, you're a rural folk modernizer. Why do you keep going home and getting exiled, Pearly? You dumb goofball? Oh, that Pearly, always going back to the United States and then getting himself exiled. Wow, things are really down. France is really down bad. But they still have war support protection. Because they've gotten a hold of everything except... Okay, now they don't have war support protection. Alright, well this is going to end soon, and that's going to create a really interesting shift in the politics of Europe. Ooh, central archives. Excellent. So this unlocks standardized filing system. It also unlocks secret police. I'm not necessarily going to do secret police, but I could. The Serb-Russian Fellowship demands action. The Serb-Russian Fellowship has requested that we establish an embargo against Great Britain. Great Britain is a known opponent of Russian interests. We must be as comprehensive as possible. Any other approach is irresponsible. British aggression is as old as the hills. I fear that it may appear as if we're using our own nation as a piece on a chessboard for the sake of a foreign power. What would you say, if pressed? A circumstantial alignment will not subordinate us. In this case, Russian interests happen to be Serbian interests. Happen to be the interests of the Serb people. It is as simple as that. We will look into this. Adds lobby demand, or this is not in our interest. The Serb-Russian Fellowship gets very unhappy. Who is this? The Orthodox Church and the Armed Forces. I'm going to look into it. I'll start improving relations with Britain as a precursor to doing this thing that will damage relations. Petitioners approached government. Several prominent members of the radical movement have approached the government with an ambitious petition to see through their agenda. The petition has been promoted as a necessary starting point amongst the movement's leadership. There were at least 100 signatures on the paper, some unintelligibly ornate, others generic names that the official would have to do some incredible feats of deduction to narrow down. This was the benefit of a petition. Past a certain point, it became infeasible to punish every signatory. If one person dissented, it would be easy to scoop them up, but when it was 1,000, things became much more difficult. Permit debate on the raised issues. This gets us reduced enactment time. Stronger radical movement, lower radical movement activism. Okay, that's probably good. The formal procedures of government must be upheld, reduce legitimacy. Weaker but more active radical movement. Or order investigation on this convenient list of names. Much weaker radical movement, much higher activism. 2% of middle stratum pops in Serbia become more radical. I'm going to permit debate on the raised issues. Reduced enactment time is nice, and then reduced movement activism will be good. Because I don't think the radical movement's going to cause any problems. I think the radical movement's going to be chill all the time. I'm being careful about my influence because I want to hold on to my infamy decay bonus because the infamy decay bonus is very important. Brittany has been broken off the French Republic. If I start improving relations with France, that actually gives me that cuts into my infamy decay modifier, and that's the thing I need to stop. Corsica has also been liberated. Ooh. What if I were to take Corsica? Generals misfired cannon. An affair between Milan Rajkevich and Svetomir Vutočić-Perkovic's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, Milan Rajkevich stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. Now there was only one liaison he was seeing. Now there was no denying it, not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. We still need a general, and these are personal matters. Svetomir Vukotic-Berkovich gains syphilis. 90% chance the landowners get unhappy, 10% chance he dies. Or we cannot trust a man like this. Svetomir Vukotic-Berkovich gets syphilis. Milan Rajkevich will step down. Landowners become happy. Milan Rajkevich, yeah, he's our syphilitic. Surveyor is so good. We still need a general, and these are personal matters. Unfortunately, the landowners have become unhappy. Our investment pool is finally decreasing, so that's nice. A foreign manifesto. The recently translated works of Adalbert Maps have become popular within the radical movement. The relationship has developed to the point of Adalbert Maps openly endorsing the movement. And for a whole large class, there is no other road, especially for a nation so eminently practical as the Serb. The great thing is to get the working class to move as a class, that once obtained, they will soon find the right direction, and all who resist will be left out in the cold with small sects of their own. Our struggle is an international one, a stronger radical movement, or this foreign interference ought to be punished, significantly weaker radical movement, significantly angrier petite bourgeoisie, weaker petite bourgeoisie, more active radical movement. I'm going to go with the first one. Again, a stronger radical movement is not necessarily bad, particularly one with low activism. The German Empire wants trade privileges and investment rights, exchange for investment rights. Let's negotiate. Buddy Bear. Instead of trade privileges, how about an alliance? Oh, they're not even a little interested in that, huh? Could I get investment rights from you, perhaps? They're even less interested in that. Get out of here, British Empire, German Empire. I know. We are good friends. We could be better friends, but let's also be realistic here. What's their leverage over us look like? Can I see that? Oh, okay, here we go. I'm looking at it. Yeah, Russiskaya Imperia has got the most leverage over us. That's not ideal. I don't want to be pulled in. Capital interests. The interest of the industrialists in the lucrative trade with Austria has led them to align themselves with the Serb-Austrian society. Does the increased volume not permit for more risk? Quite the opposite. When a daily use of money enters one's pockets, one becomes predisposed to mania. An extra coin to a waiter, a formerly shocking fee, paid off with a smile. If one is not careful, one ceases to look at their ledgers at all. They pay more than they ever did, and this is the road to ruination. An excellent point. Will it justify the deployment of warships? It had better. If it does not, perhaps a donation will. A toast to our prosperity, they join the Serb-Austrian society, or our relationship should remain strictly transactional, the industrialists get weaker. A toast to our prosperity. I foresee no problems coming from this. I've almost completely chipped away at our national debt. It's taken a long time, but I think it's been worth it. Our infamy is continuing to be high because we've seized really a lot of territory from the Ottomans. But you know, that's a whole thing. I'm continuing to suppress the Greek national movement. It's a very active movement, but very low in support. And maybe there will come times when we'll take the rest of Albania and Thessalia. And then maybe, you know, we'll take a protectorate over Greece, and that'll be fine. I can't make them a protectorate because I'm not higher rank. Austria is damaging relations, and they withdraw from the Convention of Novi Pazar. Really? That's curious. So we still have... They're still guaranteeing our independence. They're no longer guaranteeing our independence. Well, fine. That's how unfortunate for them. German Empire. Would you guarantee me independence? They don't care about a power block embassy. They won't. Okay, so my current alliances are: I've got a guarantee of independence from Russia, as well as a power block embassy. Let's renegotiate this. Can I get cash? I really can't. Oh, and I've got a defensive... No, Russia has a defensive pact with Germany. Okay. I'm going to withdraw from the Treaty of Belgrade. Hopefully the Russians won't be too big mad about that. They still seem protective of us, so that's good. I don't want them to have too many investment rights. Great Eastern Crisis should be resolving itself soon. Yeah, I think they got one more year. Because it said they needed 5 years. If not, then I should still be able to go after them in another year or so. Although, obviously, I said I was trying to get my my infamy down, and I do kind of wish to do that. Let's throw another consumption tax in the works. It would be nice to get meat, but it would be inefficient to add on to one of these others. I've almost got enough for coal. Let's do wine. I realize at this point I'm just goofing up my wine industry, but you know, it's necessary. Alright, we are very nearly bashed away at our national debt. Another 20 or so months will be enough. Okay, Greece going after the Ottomans. They want to conquer Kybris, which is... where? Cyprus, as we say in English. So this is interesting. This provides me an interesting opportunity. Ottoman Empire wants to humiliate Greece. I can't go with either side. Well, that's a shame. a year, I'll be able to take advantage of this to seize more Ottoman territory, or maybe to take a protectorate over Greece, while other troops are in the Ottoman Empire. Both sides are cocky, so we'll see how that goes. Number of radicals has decreased, but number of loyalists has also decreased. Obviously, the legitimacy of the government hasn't done me any favors in that. Stupid liberal and free trade parties. Why do you goof with me so? Why do you goof up my giblets in this way? So I think as soon as we've got our situation clear here, we'll start doing construction again, and I think the thing I need to do is create more universities. We've almost got hydraulic cranes. That allows for better trade methods, which is also nice. I think I may need to increase trade capacity. Yeah, I think I actually need to do that. I think that needs to be a priority. So, I'm going to queue those in. But I'm actually going to pause. Wait. I just got a new trade method. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Oh, we need to start using nitro in our lead mines. Dang, that was dumb. Naval bases, we should be doing power of the purse. That was really smart. Government admin, I'm going to wait on this because it's going to increase the value of, what do you call them? It's going to increase the value of paper, and that's going to be difficult for the government. Alright, we'll go to bulk trading. That'll give us increased trade capacity. And then I'll wait on increasing my trade capacity until I know whether I can use it all. Because that's kind of how you manage trade policy. Alright, Ottomans and the Greeks are fighting. It looks like the Ottomans are winning. Which is not ideal for me, but them's the breaks. I'm almost finished incorporating Western Thrace. Macedonia is still being worked on. But the penalties for Bulgaria are mostly decayed away by now. I got another 2.5 years now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty pleased overall. Okay, interesting. Not sure what to make of that buff, but you do you, Montenegro. You can do it. Austria is damaging relations. They're belligerent towards me. Well, that's not so bad. That's not so bad because I got my defensive pact with the Russians. I should be able to increase the size of my armed forces just a little bit. I'm at 10.52 with my secondary armor, 12.53 with my... Oh. I got some, I got an excess unit of line infantry. Alright, I seem to have inherited a lot of cavalry from my, from every place that I go. Oh, are you low on infrastructure? You are, but you've got a railroad building. Yes, the private sector has built railroads. In fact, they are building railroads more efficiently than ever, which is nice. This railway is subsidized. Let me just finish out these barracks. My gold reserve maximum is actually pretty low. So I think but when I'm building, I don't actually have much of a shortage. So I think I can simply start building again and build runs of town. Questionable practices. Released patients from the Belgrade Asylum have steadily denounced the practices involved in their supposedly medical treatments. Mistreatment of the sick, withholding of personal letters, and disproportionate punishments were among the charges. They would make us sit in a chair for hours, if not the whole day, in silence. We couldn't talk to any other patient, not even read a book. They would only excuse us to go to the restroom if we were lucky, otherwise it was just a rusty chamber pot. No food, no water. If we were not sick when we were admitted, we would be within just a few weeks. Their judgment cannot be trusted. Salty Orthodox Church. I wish I could get the Orthodox Church accurate, but I can't. We need to entirely revise how asylums work. Western Serbia gets extra standard of living for the lower and middle strata, but it costs the government a pile of cash. Or the Orthodox Church ought to take over the asylum administration. Bureaucracy penalty. I might be able to take that bureaucracy penalty. Let's do it. Let's do it. I can live with that. I can live with that. Let them take it over. I can always increase the bureaucracy production methods. Relations to the Ottoman Empire damaged. What else is new? Ottomans are beating the Greeks in their war, which means Greece is likely to be humiliated and not a lot else. Because I don't think Ottoman Empire has war goals, do they? Not really. Not really. Greece wants to seize Cyprus, but that's it. Alright. Consider my my armed forces increased. I think I'm gonna go up to maybe a little bit more of a buffer before I start building again. A Romanian national awakening has begun in Moldavia. Folklore. The search for a shared national identity turned the interests of the intelligentsia to the countryside. Studying the traditions of the rural folk is widely seen as a glimpse into a primordial Serbian culture, untouched by foreign rule. They say Alexander the Great was the first Serbian, that when his empire splintered, his general formed the first Serbian kingdoms. Is that so? They say it, or that it's true? The latter. There's no difference, is there? If enough people say it, we will make it true. So grow the great seeds of a nation. Increased fervor by 10, at 10% assimilation. We have much learned from the real country, stronger and happier rural folk, but less fervor. Alright, so we are currently at 66. We need to have 75, so 10 fervor will get us there. Let's do it. Do my national awakening. He will, yeah, brother. The Serbian revival. Oh, man! Oh, things are down bad in Russia. The Serbian revival. The efforts of the Serb state to foster national fervor have led to a cultural renaissance. Even in the remotest villages of Kosovo, our citizens now understand their place as part of the Serbian nation. The census taker watched as the door to his hut swung open. It was the most remote village he had yet visited, a place of 2 houses and a single winding road. A man stood in the doorway and crisply saluted at the sight of his brass buttons. "What is your name?" "Stepan Miloradovic," answered the man in the doorway. "And where are you from?" I am a Serb, sir, like my father and his father before him." Long live the Serb people. Gains claims on all Serbian homelands, and 10% of Serbian pops in Serbia become more loyalist. Okay. Or a great nation deserves a great army. Claims on all Serbian homelands. Extra conscription rate. Reduced morale loss. Increased training rate. Armed forces stronger and happier. Ooh, so this is an interesting setup. I could get a ton of loyalists. I could get basically 800k loyalists, which would really help out with my politics. Or I could get my armed forces doing better. Conscription rate, reduced morale loss, increased training rate. That's not too bad. That's not shabby at all. This would help me win wars. I'm gonna do the second one. Oh, right, on Montenegro. Yes. I'd forgotten that Austria was still holding part of that. Hey, Austria. How about you give me part of Montenegro? They still won't. They will never. The Balkan League. Window of opportunity, 125 months. Now that the Balkan nations are free from the grasp of the High Porte, that's the ruling body of the Ottoman Empire, there is a consensus of forming an alliance to push them back once and for all. However, such consensus will not last forever, and our window of opportunity is limited. It is the hope that all the nations of the Balkans will one day belong to its authentic inhabitants. Will complete if exactly 0 states of the Balkans, currently 2, belong to the Ottoman Empire. That's Thessalia and Albania. If completed, triggers the event end of an era. The Balkan states will be partitioned once Ottoman Empire is completely eradicated from the region, and they currently owned Albania and Thessaly. Possible event effects. Serbia gets victorious Balkan League ally. Extra influence, extra prestige, extra legitimacy, extra tech research speed. Will fail if at least one of these. Window of opportunity closes. We lose the Balkan War. We reject to join the Balkan League. If failed, possible events. Milan Obrenovic gets failed ambitions, reduced popularity. Okay, so what are our options here? Dedicate military research. Catching up with the standards of a powerful enemy is crucial. Obtaining technology from other great powers will hasten our progress to modernize the army. They will be especially sympathetic if the Ottoman Empire has any technologies we have yet to obtain. Only allowed if we haven't done it, and the Ottoman Empire is... or any country other than the Ottoman Empire is a great power with poor relations with the Ottoman Empire and good relations with Serbia. This reduces production and society, tech, research and spread, but increases research and spread for military. Expand the League. There may be nations subjugated by the Ottoman Empire that would be willing to join our cause. This is only available if the Ottoman Empire has an active Balkan League journal entry or one of their subjects does, and is supported by Serbia through a guaranteed independence, an alliance, or defensive pact. Effects of the Balkan League will expand to include Ottoman subjects whose independence we support. We can overwork the arms industry. This costs authority and increases radicals from low legitimacy. Increases mortality of laborers in light and heavy industry by a huge amount, but increases output for small arms, artillery, and ammunition. I don't think I'm going to need that. We can muster conscripts. This is only available once we're a committed participant in diplomatic play. It reduces agriculture throughput. There's a choose one of the following. Reduce agriculture throughput by 20%, but gain a 35% increase in training rate and a 25% increase in conscriptable battalions. Or reduce agriculture throughput by 40%, but gain a 50% increase to conscriptable battalions and a 75% increase to training rate. Resign. If I'm not at war with the Ottoman Empire, I can do this. Formal resignation from the alliance will neutralize our diplomatic stance, but will be seen as a traitor to the other Balkan League countries. Triggers a special event that may cause the journal entry to fail. We may choose to become a protectorate to the Ottoman Empire. Increase relations with the Ottomans, decreases relations with nobody else. Triggers the event disposable loyalty, or start the war. Serves a special diplomatic play against the High Porte. All Balkan League members will join our side. As of now, Ottoman Empire and their allies have an army power projection of 1.91, while the Balkan League and their allies have a total 0. By winning against the Ottoman Empire using the Balkan War diplomatic play, they will lose ownership of any owned states in the Balkans. Winning this war without the intervention of a great power on our side will grant us an additional reward. This is available if we're not a subject, or subject agreement permits us to start diplomatic plays. If we do not have a truce with the Ottoman Empire, if we have combined power projection of us and our allies are at least half of what the Ottoman Empire has, or the Ottoman Empire is already at war. If effects, Serbia creates the Balkan War diplomatic play against the Ottoman Empire, following Balkan League members will join our play. Alright, so we're the head of the Balkan League. We currently have a truce with the Ottomans, lasting for another 5 months. Wow, is that truly all of it? Okay, here we go. Here's our event. We've been offered the opportunity to become a member of the Balkans Alliance against the Ottoman Empire. A unified army with a single purpose may be the only means to banish them from the region once and for all. Gentlemen, the opportunity is nigh to grasp. This might be our only chance to retribute the grand debt of our forefathers. Let this brotherhood stand as one for countless centuries, when the day of our collective triumph is here. The committee stood up and clapped. It was as if the victory had already been achieved, despite the weasels in the room. Serbia will answer the call. We establish the Balkan League, or this is not the solution. Improves relations with the Ottomans will not be part of it. Serbia will answer the call. So now we've got some options. This stuff, but not this stuff. Window of opportunity is 125 months, so that's 10 and a half years. I got 5 months till my truce with the Ottoman Empire finishes. So I might just wage a war to grab these other 2 states and be done with it. I do still have a kind of a comical amount of infamy. I don't love having that quantity of infamy. I really wish I could get it down faster, but I simply cannot. I also really wish that Bulgaria were considered part of the Yugoslav territory, because I must say, I've got plenty of states. Bulgaria is... The Bulgarians are Southern Slav peoples. I don't know. I feel sad about the about this thing. I don't love having to tangle with Austria. On the other hand, Austria's time is coming, whether they would wish it or not. I don't want to continue increasing my infamy. I really need to build up paper production capacity. Where is a good place that's got a lot of logging camps available? Western Serbia is a good spot. Let's build some paper mills here. Some more in addition to the ones that are being currently constructed by the private sector. And I think after that, perhaps we'll build some paper mills in eastern Serbia as well. Actually, no. Paper mills are a good thing to produce in our newly acquired territories. How's construction efficiency like in Macedonia? Come on. Construction sector max level. That's not what we need. Never mind. There's an easier way to do this, which is we throw some stuff into the queue, and then we look at how fast it's going to take. Ugh, it's quite bad. All right. Well, we'll wait on that for now. We'll wait on that for now. I'm still doing road maintenance in Bosnia. Right. I need to do road maintenance in Bosnia. So in order to remove the need for that, there's actually already a railway being built here by the private sector. How long is it going to take for them to get to it? It's going to be a little while. So maybe I will build my own. I'll build my own railway with blackjack and hookers. Yeah, I think that's a sensible solution to the problem. Again, pretty even cash flow, but also we're shooting for steel frame construction, so I don't want to build out too many construction sectors over too long a period, because then I'll need to convert them all, and that'll be a headache. I'll need so much steel and glass to make that happen that it'll be just goofy, is what it will be, frankly. Frankly, it will be goofy. I've got a very strong radical movement. And if I could get a radical interest group into the government, then maybe I could even use that radical movement to turn myself even more democratic. But I can't. Them's the breaks, gents. Gents, ladies and gents, and all others, my nerds more generally, them's the breaks. It looks like Russia is winning their radical revolt. The Russians are winning against Russia. I thought they'd conquered Circassia, but apparently not. We still have a lobby demand to embargo Great Britain. Relations with Great Britain are okay. What if I just embargoed them a little bit? Well, that's right, I was also going to increase trade capacity, and I wasn't even looking at it. Alright, so, trade capacity is good in eastern Serbia. In western Serbia, it can stand to be increased. In Bosnia, let's create a little bit. Montenegro is good, it's not using all of it. Kosovo needs a trade center. South Serbia needs a trade center. Macedonia is not using all of its trade capacity. Western Thrace needs a trade center. Northern Thrace is not using all of its capacity. Netherlands improving relations, wonderful. And Bulgaria is not using all its trade capacity. Alright, so we're doing well overall in terms of trade capacity. Increasing the size of the paper industry will increase will reduce costs for the government, and that will also be useful. With our dedication to reducing our infamy, we are slowly getting to the point where we can finally become not infamous, and then maybe that will open up some opportunities for global imperialism. Because global imperialism is kind of the name of the game in this period in history, unfortunately. I suppose I could do local imperial... Wow. You know, I was just like, maybe North Africa will have some place I can seize. But no, North Africa has become completely in the thrall of European powers. Which is a shame. Let's take a quick look at the Marina Kingdom. No, I need to get below 25. If I get below 25, and then take a look at it. Then I'll be able to see where we'll be at. And this is not going to take much longer now. So, all right, yes, and the Ottoman Empire lost their Eastern Crisis, which means now we have, or no, they haven't lost their Eastern Crisis, even though it's 72 now. Well, I guess I'll just have to make a war on them. The brave engineer. A railroad accident in South Serbia only narrowly avoided heavy fatalities due to the quick thinking of the train's engineer who perished in the crash. Only a few people died, but the wreckage will take some time to clear. Come all you rounders if you want to hear a story all about a brave engineer. Thank goodness for quick-thinking engineers, reduced infrastructure in South Serbia, or railmen should be more than a song for dying in the job, reduced infrastructure in South Serbia, but stronger and happier trade unions. I don't want to do this. Having stronger and happier trade unions goofed up my politics before, and I don't want to suffer that again. Alright, so now, nope. Political migration. The rich and unstable political environment in Serbia has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people, who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Belgrade. Oh, Belgrade, you flawed yet fiery jewel, where else could one see 3 different demonstrations within a 5 minutes walk? They're welcome to join the Sea of Voices, extra prestige and radicals from political movements, and Fyodor Rozestvensky becomes employed in Serbia, or these people make a mockery of Serbia, reduce prestige, reduce radicals from political movements. Let me see what Rozestvensky cares about. He's a land reformer aligned with the trade unions. Yeah, he's welcome to join the Sea of Voices. That's fine. I don't mind having him around. Peasant movement has been created. I thought we had one of those already. So, now that we're not infamous, let's take a quick look at what it'll be like if we make a sector to the Marina Kingdom. There are still a lot of countries that would stand on their side, including Portugal, which is like a weird choice. I don't know that I have the influence to improve relations with them. Oh, I do. Alright, so we'll improve relations with Portugal. Business of legislation. Increased sightings of anti-Austrian association members socializing with lawmakers at restaurants and entertainment establishments are raising concerns about lobbyist conduct. A lobbyist hands a drink to a politician and pats him on the back. Liquid amber swirls in their tumblers. Jovially he tells him, "Excellent. You are among friends here with the Anti-Austrian Association. Now that matters about Austria have been discussed, let us set aside this talk of business for the rest of the evening. This indulgent behavior should not be tolerated. Weaker rural folk, extra legitimacy, or the facts do not call for any action to intervene. Appeasement of the Anti-Austrian Association increases by +1. I'm going to go with the first one. I love high legitimacy. I could start the Balkan War, but I don't know that... Who else? Can I see who else is in the Balkan League? Is there a way to see that? I don't think so. Crossing in the middle, the armed forces, aided by locals, have been driving Turkish people out of their homes in South Serbia. This may easily turn into bloodshed if unchecked. Neighbors of old are actively seeking opportunities to target unguarded Turks at every turn. In the absence of the Sultan's forces, vulnerable communities are enduring daily harassment and hostility. Escalating tensions have led to the alarming disappearance of several family members in certain villages, with authorities showing blatant indifference. Predictably, some officials are even complicit in these raids. Create a corridor. All Turkish pops in South Serbia will safely emigrate to Kastamonu, which is where? Okay. Ottoman relations towards Serbia increases by 30. 5% of Serbian pops in Serbia become more radical. Leave soldiers and locals to themselves. 75% of the Turkish pops in South Serbia will escape to Kastamonu. 25% of the Turkish pops in South Serbia will be killed. 2% of Serbian pops in Serbia become more loyalist. Ottoman relations towards Serbia deteriorates by 15. They lived here for centuries. This is not right. 5% of Turkish pops in South Serbia will be killed. Ottoman relations towards Serbia improved by 15. 20% of Serbian pops in Serbia become more radical. Okay, so my question is, first, South Serbia, how many pops is that? How many people are we talking about? Let's be specific. 100,000. So, the question is, do I kill 5,000 people? Or do I expunge 100,000 people from my territory, but allow them to move to Anatolia where they can live peacefully? Neither of these is a great option. This is going to make a lot of my pops angry if I let them go, but what's relations like? Relations are terrible, so that's not really a factor. I think creating a corridor is what I have to do. I don't really see this as a solution. I think this is going to keep happening, and it's going to continue to be nasty. So, unfortunately, like, if we talk about the UN definition of genocide, both of these count. Like, removing a group of people from a place is still a genocide, even if they're allowed to live elsewhere. That said, between the two options of just kill a chunk of them or let them go, I say let them go. That's going to reduce the population of my country significantly. Let's see if that happens. Yep, there it goes. But I know this is the age of nationalism, but they're still people. Alright. Bosnia, you got a second railway. And with that being close to fully employed now, you should not need any additional... you should no longer need this road maintenance decree. So we can get rid of that. Now, if I cut my consumption tax for wine, I can throw in a consumption tax for meat, and that will generate a really healthy amount of cash flow for the government. I'm building up a bunch of trade centers. Fervor is pretty high, but I do need more universities. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, City of Plenty. The most prominent members of Western Serbia high society have been seen organizing luxurious parties in the new and lavish urban buildings. Marble walls, shimmering stone, the noise of people coming and going brings the city back to life when we didn't even know it was dead. Tall buildings cover the sunset, kids play with bricks, smoke blends with the clouds, a distant bell announces the next train. Progress is coming. So, option 1 is let them accelerate. This gives us 10% of upper and middle stratum pops becoming more loyal. Or the party will never end. 25% loyalism among upper and middle strata instead of 10%, but increases minimum expected standard of living for the upper strata. So, what we need to look at here is where our upper strata are in comparison to their minimum expected. They're 20 above. So there's a huge buffer between their minimum expected and what they've got. I'm going to say the party will never end, and that's a lot of loyalism. You know, obviously, me taking over this area, like, it is my fault that this happened, because I took over this area when I knew that there were Turkish people living there. There are Turkish people living here again, which is interesting. Perhaps the game doesn't know how to handle that. I'm going to build up a larger university in my home territories. My territories that are very long part of my empire, because those areas are the areas where it's going to make the biggest impact. And building up Marina Kingdom knows what I'm about. Marina Kingdom has seen through my ruse. How is paper still expensive? Paper is no longer expensive. Alright, that's good. That's very good. Cash flow's doing alright. privatization has produced a good amount of cash flow. In fact, cash flow for the government is looking really, really rock solid. But that's only because I'm not currently fighting a war. So, what's it going to take? 13 infamy for Thessalia, 13 for Albania. I would love to get all the way down in infamy, but I don't think that's realistic. Now, what about taking Eastern Thrace? Eastern Thrace, ooh, the Hagia Sophia. What does this do? Increases Orthodox pop attraction. Orthodox Church devout. It increases the pop attraction for the devout. I would get opium plants if I took this state, which would be nice, but also, this is really a Turkish majority area, and I don't think it's right for me to, given what I now know about the Balkan League and all that situation, I don't think that's wise. So I have the ability to start the war. Starts a special diplomatic play against the High Ports. I don't know how this is going to go. The following Balkan League members will join our diplomatic play: Serbia, Bulgaria, and Greece. So Romania will not necessarily, which is interesting. Russia's got an Estonian uprising in the Baltic governorates. So what's the difference between if I win? So this will complete if I take these. So if I don't know what the outcome of this diplomatic play is going to be. Lose ownership of any states. Winning this war without the intervention of great power on our side will grant us an additional reward. But if I don't know what's going to happen to Albania and Thessalia. Thessalia might become Greek. In fact, the chances are pretty good that it will become Greek. And I don't love that because I want this territory. I want it real bad. Decisions. Do I trust the game to do this properly? But I've got a lot of influence. Let me continue to wait. Let me continue to be chill. Well, I can't wait that long because the Great Eastern Crisis. I need this going down because Romanian integrity is going to go up, and that's something that I don't want because I want the Ottoman Empire to fail this Great Eastern Crisis. If I start this war, no one sides with the Ottomans. Again, there's this question of can I take the Ottomans in a fight? And I think the answer is probably still yes. Let's go ahead and add a few more conscripts. Wow, actually my conscription capacity is really, really high now with all these bonuses. So maybe I will increase my conscription. Maybe I'll do 25, 20, and 5. And then we'll do 5 more infantry. And then for the second Serbian army, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to need 8 artillery. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then for cavalry, we'll go up to 5. And maybe just to make sure the numbers are fine, we'll do 30, 20, and 5. Because, again, I don't want to lose organization due to having an insufficiency of infantry battalions. Now, I could build a few more regular infantry units, but I don't think so. I think I want to focus on I think I want to get to 12.63 for artillery. And I'm going to throw these in at the top of the queue. And you want me to invest in you. Now there's an interesting prospect. In exchange for paper. You know what? Sure. I'll invest in you, Portugal. Navarra. That's interesting. We've got an event. The best defense. Our neighbors in the Ottoman Empire have become known for their ruthless foreign policy, a concern that the Conservative Party has raised in their election campaign, promising to be harsher in turn to deter aggression. The suggestion has been brought to me that our diplomats study more languages to facilitate connections around the world. That is all well and good, but we all know there is only one language an Ottoman brute understands. They don't teach it in universities, but we better be ready to speak it if we want the border to stay where it is. The Ottoman menace must be deterred. Extra momentum for the Conservatives deteriorates relations. Or they're just looking for a target for their posturing Saltean forces. I'm going to go with the second one. I don't want to throw more momentum by way of the Conservatives. Once again, the Liberal Party is holding not a lead, but a capacity to have a lead. And if I can get stuff going the right way, potentially there could be one. I'm going to leave the Conservatives in charge during the election cycle this time. I think maybe doing it the other way was not wise before. So we'll build up these barracks. Yes, a tumultuous campaign. Whilst campaigning for the Liberal Party in the turmoil-racked Western Thrace, Fyodor Rozhdestvensky has been attacked and brutally beaten by a group of unknown assailants. When the crowd cleared, the screaming stopped, all that was left in the street was his prostrate form, bruised, cut, and barely recognizable as the Titan he had represented not 5 minutes before. Some rest and recuperation would be best. He becomes scarred, and they lose some momentum. Get back to the trail right away. He becomes wounded, and they gain some momentum. Of course we know who it was. It was us. He gets wounded and shell-shocked. Reduce momentum for the Liberal Party. Get back to the trail right away. I will give the Liberal Party more momentum, and hopefully that will not come entirely at the expense of the Free Trade Party, who are their natural allies. Maybe at the end of the election we will start waging ourselves a war. Cash flow has never been better. But I think I need to build up another munitions plant for this war to work out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Don't want to get myself into a bad spot. And my infamy will be even lower. Vacuum packaging. All right, let's enable vacuum packing. Pack it. Pack it up, pack it in. Let me pack. We're going to use more sugar. It wasn't good to use more sugar. Okay, we're not going to use more sugar. What happened? Is it the sugar problem? We're not bringing in enough sugar. We got tariffs on sugar. I'm going to take tariffs off of sugar. It's going to make things easier. Pressing issues. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of various contending parties. Across Serbia, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. The first thing I take into account is the safety of my investments. If a party would represent chaos, I may safely discount it. The stockbroker tapped his cigar on the rim of the ashtray and continued. The journalist took notes as he spoke. How will the incoming government's tariff policy affect my needed imports? Do they wish to impose taxes, which may spur uncertainty? Do they wish to embark upon military adventures? Would these adventures be profitable, or would they be ruinous? There is much to consider. The Free Trade Party makes decisive arguments. 30% momentum for them. The electorate trusts the Conservative Party's policy, extra momentum for them, or the Liberal Party's policies have merit, extra momentum for them. I'm going to throw it by way of the Liberal Party. That's going to increase their chances of getting a plurality. They're close. Unfortunately, all my available leaders have are landowners' dorks. But, you know, them's the breaks, I guess. Austria's down to cordial. going to start improving relations with France again. This is going to reduce my infamy decay. I'm going to stop improving relations with Portugal. I'm still improving relations with Britain. I got my lobby demand for another year. Hold on. How do I embargo them? These are demands. Where's my embargo button? How do I... What do you want from me? How do I embargo Britain? Gosh dang it. What has happened? Hold on. Embargo. I only have 4 countries I can embargo. Oh, relations need to be bad. Well, that sucks. My whole point was not to lose relations. Well, sorry, Serbian-Russian fellowship, you're going to be mad for a bit. Orthodox Church petitioned government. Representing his constituents in the Orthodox Church, Milan Nenadovic has issued a formal petition to the Serb government to pass religious schools. One last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you would meet with them about new legislation. Is that it? Jeepers, you look like you've seen a ghost. Sure, I could spend the last hours of light for them, can't I? I believe so, sir. They were not taking no for an answer. Options are, we'll see what we can do. Pass religious schools, or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. They become salty, and I lose some legitimacy. I have to pick the second one, because I'm trying to get these dorks out of government. Well, my plan backfired, because now relations with Britain are better than ever. But them's the breaks, I guess. So, I think as soon as this election pops off, we'll change up the government again, probably, unless the legitimacy is super duper low, which it will stay low despite the fact that the promise that we didn't make wasn't to the current government. But them's the breaks, I guess. Still quite a bit of radicalism in the country, but it's going down, slowly. Alright, so finally, I can get the liberal and free trade parties into this. Alright, time to fight this war. No one will step in to protect the Ottomans. Precious few people will step in to help us. Romania might protect the Ottomans, but I don't think so. Let's do it. Anti-Egyptian Association. But we're so happy with the Egyptians. We're at 31 infamy. Go ahead and add. I'm not going to do that, but I'm very happy to see that it's an option. I'm going to go ahead and grab a war goal to snag Thessalia as well. And this will be the end of my expansion south. Once this is done, and do I add this to primary? I don't think I do. At least not yet. Great Eastern Crisis is still increasing. Wait, before I do this, I gotta raise my conscripts. Comical number of conscripts. Let's start producing liquor. Will it be better if we use patent stills? It will not. There we go. Portugal breaks the agreement. Interesting. Alright, now let's enable baking powder. Hey, you're not more profitable. You said you'd be more profitable. Okay, weird. Alright. Now, there are some countries we could bring in. I could potentially bring in the Austrians, potentially bring in the Greeks. The Russians would be the best, but they want me to be a subject, and I don't desire that. The Austrians want a state, and no one else is interested. So, let's fight. Weird that only half of the front is the front here. But them's the breaks, I suppose. Okay, we're low on organization. Why? Because we don't have sufficient command capacity. We need a new fellow in charge. Let's grab tuberculosis. This only affects character health. Let's grab this guy. We'll have another syphilitic. And then this guy's an arrogant villager. We'll bring him in too. And hopefully this will slow down the Great Eastern Crisis. I have no need to go fast in this war. So I'm going to swap over to defensive methods. Last stand is increased casualties taken. I don't want that because the Ottomans can take casualties more than I can. We'll go to adamant defense, which is more defense overall and increased supply consumption, which is not going to be an issue for this army. This army is also a little bit low on command capacity. I'm going to promote this fella. And that should be fine. And now, we're at 43 infamy. I'm actually going to make... What does uncertain mean? Uncertain means there's a chance they'll back down. I'm going to take the infamy to add this to my war goals, just to make sure that I can win this, the Balkan War. Getting my munitions plants built before the start of the war will be very good. I believe I am currently subsidizing them. Marina Kingdom sides with Uganda about something. And now I realize that I'm out of water, so I'm going to be back in a second. Oh, so professional. What a great streamer. Chat, did anything happen while I was away? If it did, put it in the comments. I only have my comically large water bottle available right now. I shouldn't say that. I only have my comically large water bottle cold by now. I can do things. I have some possible actions. Mustering conscripts. I'm actually not going to do this because I don't think I need it. I think I can win this war under my own power. Serbia is a great nation, and we have the capacity to beat the Ottomans. 2 arms. I'm going to pause government construction. That is going to... cash flow is going to be pretty okay. The enemy should start attacking at any minute. But if they don't, it's not a tragedy. There's joint stock companies. Wonderful. Stonks. They're not attacking, which is interesting. I'm happy to continue conscription. Continue to build up my military capacity. Because I can take this. But with that having been said, let's get moving. Time to go. Force comparison's looking good. Hopefully I can bash away at the enemy's military strength and be able to close this war out within a reasonable time frame. Alright, we are winning on the attack, which is very good. We got multiple battles being fought. We're winning on one of them. Well, okay. Alright, so we'll need to be conscientious. Nikolai Golovin, exiled from Russia. He's a nihilist aligned with the intelligentsia. That's interesting. Our force comparison is improving. Things are getting better for us, and we are holding at 100 war support because we've got a lot of fervor from our primary culture. Ooh, one of these battles is actually a win now, which is good. Stop it. Let me look at the battle. Alright, event. The philosophy department. We've secured funding for philosophy departments in all of our institutions of higher learning. The University of Western Serbia has chosen to focus this funding on advancing Hegelian dialectics. Now that we're more or less seated, we can begin. Everything you do at this institution begins and ends with the portmanteau philo, meaning the love of, and sophia, meaning wisdom. The love of learning and thought is what philosophy is. Underpinning philosophy is the outlook by which we perceive life, the world, everything in essence. We can't necessarily teach you how to do a specific task here. What we can teach you is how to learn and how to think about learning on your own. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, 25% extra university throughput, or we need a more pragmatic approach, extra progress on philosophical pragmatism. Philosophical pragmatism doesn't do much for me, so I'm just going to get the general output increase. So now here's the thing about this war. I don't necessarily want this to get done really fast because I want to slow down the Great Eastern Crisis. Now, if I take this territory, they might lose automatically because that might mean, hey, no more Ottoman states in the Balkans, except for Eastern Thrace, but that's their capital, right? I don't think that would necessarily count. Oh my gosh, we're a major. Hell yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I'm very pleased. At this rate, I'll be able to conquer Greece in no time. A sip of water. It's not making an obnoxious slurping sound, but pretend it is. Oh, I can tax liquor. I've started producing my own liquor, and now I can tax it. Hey, if you guys go to baking powder, will you be more profitable? Are you lying? You're lying. That's a shame. I wonder why that's happening. It's probably because I'm not bringing in enough sugar. All right. So, unfortunately, there is quite a bit of devastation happening in these areas, which provides motivation for me to increase the rate at which I win the war, because I don't want to add more devastation to areas that are going to be part of Serbia. But them's the breaks, I suppose. Okay, so I've kind of, my conscription has a little bit outrun my capacity to sustain it, as you can see by the current state of our cash flow, which is not ideal. One day I will start paying the government wages. I can't really afford to increase taxation much beyond what I've currently got, but I should have the territories that I desire well in hand before too many more weeks, and at that point I will be able to simply hold until the Ottomans decide they're done being in a war. Ooh, breech-loading artillery. Excellent. Eastern Serbia is having an infrastructure issue. I'm going to go ahead and unpause government construction to start building there. If you want peace, the armed forces suggest a more hardline foreign policy towards Bulgaria due to our poor relations. If half of what you're saying is true, I don't want you anywhere near that border, she said, but I don't think it is. Mother, you've always said not to trust the Bulgarian. Why would you trust them to respect our borders? No one wants their son to do it because they know it's dangerous. That's exactly why we need to do it. Set aside formalities, they are the enemy. Armed forces happier, deteriorates relations with Bulgaria, or despite our mutual dislike, there is no need to escalate this. Reduces our authority, armed forces unhappy. I need the armed forces happy, so we'll deteriorate relations with Bulgaria. Vladimir Peshik retires, and now our new guy is Slavomir Sijan, and now the government is reformed. Excellent. I notice every time a menu closes, if we're at war, the war bark happens. Huh, we're actually losing a battle over here. Interesting. One of our armies... Oh, lost a general. Oh no, we haven't lost a general. We just don't have the command capacity. What about our other force? You're doing fine. Alright. Force comparison is rock solid. There's enlistment offices. That's also good for our overall strategy. So we're at 67% occupation in Thessalia. 67% in Albania as well. When this battle finishes, we should be doing really well. 94%. Okay. We're fighting another battle. We are going really well. We're fighting another battle over here. We're doing really well, although we are lost, but that's okay. Our troops are lost, but they're fighting well despite that. You don't need to know where you are to win a war. Just kidding. That's absolutely not true. You really need to know where you are. One time, I read a field manual from World War II for German mobile infantry troops, and like the primary thing you need to worry about is like 75% of the advice is like, hey, don't get lost in Russia. Russia's really big. Don't get lost in Russia. Unfortunately, the enemy does have war support protection until we're able to win over here. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so now the Ottoman Empire no longer has war support protection. Their war support is negative. Surely they will cede us Albania and Thessalia. Not yet, but very soon. Another 5 weeks. Unfortunately, I've gone extremely deeply into debt right now. So now I know. Now I know I can't linger when wars are concerned. Like, I can field a very strong force, but it is extremely costly for my country in order to do so, and I need to be mindful of that as time goes by. Give me the states. Give me all the states I want. One more week, and they'll say yes. Beautiful. Give me the states. And now the Balkan League should finish. The end of an era. Alright, that's the good one. It is done. The Ottoman Empire has finally been driven out of the Balkans. Its former territories now belong to their rightful owners. Serbia! The Balkan League has proven to be a successful initiative. Mother, the bell is ringing. Let us not be late. The little boy, dressed in newly tailored local attire, was having the most exciting day of his life. The parade that was supposed to travel to the capital was about to march through the village center. It had been a while since the news of glory reached them, but saluting their veteran heroes was a feeling like no other. At last, our lands belong to us. Extra legitimacy, extra prestige, extra tech research speed, and extra influence for 20 years. Beautiful. And we slowed down the Great Eastern Crisis. This might actually end completely on account of they no longer have... Excuse me? Oh. Okay, so here's what happened. We became a major for a little while, but we're no longer a major, and the reason is because all of our huge army demobilized. Our huge army demobilized, and now our army projection, our power projection from army is much lower. That having been said, I'm feeling very, very good. Return Thessaly. No. Greek diplomatic play. Who is going to stand with them? Russia, maybe. Might need to be careful. I'm not going to add a. I'm not going to add a take protectorate war goal, much as I would like one. I am simply going to add a humiliate war goal because I don't wish to be the bad guy here, unless of course I could get some territory for a very low amount of infamy. No, I can't. Not the territory that I want at any rate. Alright, so the Greek army is quite small. I'm going to mobilize, but I'm not going to raise my conscripts. Hopefully we'll be able to win this war with our standing army. I could sway Austria, but again, they want a chunk of a state, and I don't wish to give it to them. We'll see how things go here. I should have a call ally CB for... I should have a call ally for Russia. They'll say no. Interesting. How very curious. Let's hold, though. We don't need to get unreasonable here. I feel that I can very solidly win against Greece simply by holding out, by being reasonable, and by not letting them get past me. And as a result, I don't really feel a need to get involved, to overcommit myself, and to bring in a bunch of people. I feel this is entirely a Balkan matter. Bukhara sides with Romania, okay, not my problem. Not about my thing, Russia sides with Romania, okay. I'm sweating bullets over here. Okay, Russia has declared neutrality. The only people who can get in now are Great Britain and Egypt. Which means, now, I can get my my protectorate war goal, and nobody is going to stop me. Because if I can get a protectorate over Greece, that would make me extremely, extremely happy. Now, oh, I didn't hit the incorporate button for Thessalia or Albania. I'm a stoop. I'm a big stoop. All right, let's start incorporating. And now what we'll do, in order to give ourselves the necessary governing capacity, is we'll swap over our government method to standardized filing system in some of our most well-governed areas, and that will give us the cash flow that we need in order to ensure that we're able to do what we wish to do. And we'll do the ones in South Serbia as well. I've only got a few other government sectors. Alright, do I want to throw this in? I don't think this is going to radically change the position of either Egypt or Britain. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a protectorate over Greece. Let's do it. They're uncertain. It would be 7 infamy to make this primary, but I'm not going to. I would rather not fight my fellow Balkan peoples. I don't know if Greece is generally considered to be part of the Balkans. I know it's part of Churchill and Stalin's quote-unquote naughty document, but I don't know if it's generally considered part of the Balkans or not. I've gotten myself way high up in infamy. Let's go ahead and swap the rest of our government admin over to, oh, I forgot to go to breach loaders. Not that it's profitable for them, but it will be useful in the long term. There we go. It's giving us plenty of bureaucratic capacity. Alright, Greece, time to fight. Having Greece as a protectorate provides me with some options in the long term. I think the irony of this is that it might be better for me long term to simply make Thessaly a part of Greece once they're my protectorate, which I might succeed at doing. Greece is not attacking. They have reasoned that their capacity will be better later, which is technically true. Force comparison is really preferable on my side at this point. I still don't wish to use pillaging against my fellow Balkan peoples, though. So let's get going. Let's get going attacking and see how that works. So I suppose this episode may go a little longer than my previous 3. Because we're almost at the point where I would typically swap over, but I want to get this war done first. Now, it's possible that this war will simply be finished within good time, and I can simply go about my business. In fact, it's looking more and more likely that that's the case. But with Greece as my protectorate, they'll no longer be my rivals, and I can improve relations. So I'm going to preemptively end my rivalry. Keeping control of them is going to be difficult, but increasing relations is going to be even easier as time goes by. Now, I've got a little bit of territory I need to naval invade, I think. No, these are connected. These are connected here, so I should be able to take them all by land, and that'll be just fine. Universities are continuing to be built. That is going to guarantee us superior innovation speed, which is very good. We're also getting better tech spread from literacy now. Yeah, give me that war bark. Alright, there we go. We took the islands. Serbia should take the islands. I think in a perfect world I would give Thessaly to Greece, but I'm not really my giant Yugoslav empire yet. And although I wish to one day be, I don't think that will happen within a reasonable time frame. That giving it up to them right now is the right thing. All right. Let's be better friends, Greece. I'm going to stop improving relations with the French because I want to get a little bit of influence back. Now, obviously, we are in a space where Greece is very much gaining in liberty desire. So I need to deal with that. I am improving relations, and I am increasing my... I am reducing my infamy, but I should also increase the size of our armed forces. Let's go ahead and upgrade our artillery to get additional power for that. I'm at 13 infantry battalions, so let's increase those. We'll bring both of these up to 15 infantry, so it'll be in a 15-6-3 pattern. Let's actually go ahead and also increase the size of our artillery contingents. Great Eastern Crisis completed. A crisis contained. With strong Romanian integrity, the Ottoman Empire has contained a burgeoning crisis in the Balkans. The viziers gathered at the coffee house. The youngest remarked, "This is exactly the sort of place we would have found separatists. Is it wise to celebrate in the lion's den?" "Ismail, you worry too much," spoke the eldest. "There are still lions out there for certain, but the crisis is past. Now you see, we know where to lay the traps." "Nevertheless," Ismail muttered, "perhaps there were better circumstances in which it was loyal to rebel." Ottoman rule is not to be trifled with. They gain legitimacy, authority, and bureaucracy, and the fervor of Bulgarian and Greek pops in the Ottoman Empire is reduced. Interesting. So despite the fact that they lost the whole Balkans, they still made out like bandits, which is interesting. I've pissed off the Orthodox Church by not embargoing Great Britain. Which, you know, I could have been smarter about, but I wasn't. And now I'm in a spot where I am very high in infamy, and once again need to simply chill. I need to get my prestige up, and the best way to do that is to build armies. It's to build up my armed forces. How much more capacity do I have with what I've currently got? Just a little bit. Let's do another, let's go up to 15... 10 and 3 for my troop patterns. And then I've got 4 more. Let's do 1 more level of cavalry. And then let's do the others infantry. So it's 16, 10, 4. Perfect. Inefficient agriculture. The industrialists have started complaining about the wasteful inefficiency of subsistence farms in western Serbia. The fertile soil of our people suffers, relegated to tired and callous hands, too exhausted from manual labor to perform at a decent level, too poor to be able to afford to use more advanced tools that would make them more productive. This industry is just a useless investment. It won't matter if everyone comes to the city, extra state construction efficiency, manufacturing industries throughput, and capitalist investment pool efficiency. Happier industrialists. We should modernize the farms, extra state construction efficiency, agriculture throughput, and aristocrat investment pool contribution efficiency. Or looks like the perfect ground for an army base. Armed forces happier, industrialists unhappy, state construction efficiency, conscription rate, and training rate. I'm going to do the first one to get more out of the industrialists in the area. So, once we've finished out our once we've built up our army bases, hopefully that'll help things. And then I think we'll throw in some more fleets, particularly in our, maybe we'll put some in our newly conquered territory. I want to have some capital ships, because that's also going to help our power projection. Because remember, one of the things we need in order to ensure the loyalty of our Greek subject is to increase our prestige, and the best way to do that is to increase our power projection. We have 17 days, so we are going to fall back to a minor power, but maybe we'll be back up to a major before too long. With that having been said, that is all we've got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.